ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the one and only Mr. Grant Cardone. How are you, sir?
Glenn, I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I am doing great, man. I am doing great. For those of you that don't know, Grant Cardone is a real estate expert, a sales guru. He is a best-selling author. He's also the founder of 10X, the whole 10X movement. He created that. Forbes Magazine says he's the #1 marketer to watch in the world. He's also everybody's Uncle G, everybody's rich Uncle G, right? And he's been, for decades now, he's been a mentor of mine and just an incredible human being. Grant, I just want to start this by saying thank you so very much, not just for spending time with us today, but for your grind and for your hustle and for the impact that you've had in my life and in my family's life and in millions of people's lives around the world, man. I really appreciate you.
Glenn, I appreciate you saying that. You know, here we are, it's the day after Kobe passed. And I just been gutted for freaking yesterday morning at 10 o'clock, literally 24 hours.
Yeah.
I never met that guy. I'm not a big basketball. You know, I watch basketball when it gets to the championship. So I didn't follow the Lakers. I don't know why this guy, like, it touched me so deeply. But I think it was the ability for a guy to have such an impact on so many people. And so when you tell me that I've somehow impacted your life, I really, really appreciate that. And just, you know, I think the Kobe thing just triggers in all of us the potential for us to be, you know, to help people, to inspire people I mean, there's no chance I ever play basketball, right? But right. His pursuit of excellence and greatness, not the money, not the fame. I mean, he got all that, and I'm sure he wanted some of that, but his just pursuit, whatever drove that dude to like be somebody.
Yeah, man.
I really, really relate to. I've always wanted to be somebody, and I always wanted to create a positive effect on other people. And most of the time I've done it the wrong way. You know, I got a lot of, there's no book on how to do that.
Sure. So
anyway, thank you, bro. Thank you for because if it wasn't for you and a lot of other people, then I wouldn't be able to. I wondered yesterday. I wonder how many people would come out and shout for me if something happened to me.
You know what, Grant? It's funny that you say that, man, because Kobe, it hit me hard. I had quite a few tears yesterday, and my son Joel. So I have two sons. I have my son Joel Bryant. His middle name is Bryant, named after Kobe. And then I have another son, Fisher Grant, who is named after you.
Wow, dude.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Crazy.
And so you and Kobe have both been two of the most influential people, you know, in my life. And so yesterday, the thing with Kobe, and my son's like, Dad, you know, why are you in tears? Why are you crying? And as I was prepping for the interview this morning, that was actually one of the first questions I wanted to ask you is, you know, I do believe that 40, 50, 60, 70 years from now, let's hope, when Grant Cardone does transcend to whatever's next, you know, I do believe that there will be flocks of people surrounding Cardone Enterprises down there in Miami because of the impact you've made. But let's dive into that just a little bit further. Like, as far as Kobe and his impact, you know, obviously his death is a tragedy. But let's look at his life real quick. I would love to hear your insight on, you know, your takeaway from the way Kobe lived his life. What lessons did you learn from the way Kobe lived his life?
Yeah, well, again, I didn't know him, right? He was a guy that I wanted on my stages. I don't really know why. Like he's to me, he looks like the things that I aspire to in him. He seemed like a really gentle being.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I imagine he was an extremely fierce competitor. But after the trouble he went through in Colorado with the whole affair stuff, and then he came back out to the public, there's something happened to that guy. Look, he's a high school. He finished high school and went into the pros. He was playing pro at 18 years old.
Crazy.
So he went from playing 12 24 games a year or whatever the college schedule is to play in. What's the number, 80?
82, yeah.
Yeah. So he had to learn all this. I think some of the things I relate to with him is like, I didn't know, when I started with car dealers when I was, 30 years old, calling on car dealers, I didn't know how to get their attention. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how confident to act. I was really probably very, very insecure, wasn't sure about my product. Didn't know, everything was made up. Everything I did was completely fabricated out of thin air.
Right.
The idea, and I don't say that like it's a bad thing, because
no, you didn't have anybody. You had to carve the path.
Yeah, like people were like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. Nobody's going to do that." I knew it was a good idea, but I didn't have any. I didn't go test it. I didn't go like validate it with science. I made up the pricing. I made up how long it was going to be. Sure. I made up the book that came with it, and I made up the pitch, and I had to make up my own confidence. And so here's a guy that, damn, the whole world knows that cat, dude. The Grammys, it's like the Grammys didn't even happen last year.
I know, man. It was like it was a pre-planned tribute to Kobe.
Yeah,
the whole event.
He was not political. He was not black or white. He's on social media for a day now. Mm-hmm. Like 24. I've never seen this. I've never seen social media so dominated for this period of time.
Yeah.
So, like I all those things, his humbleness, his gentleness. I wish I was more gentle with people,
Yeah.
And then he's also a fierce competitor. Like, I mean, he made it obvious. He wants to win. He wants greatness. He wants to win. But when I say I want to win, it sounds, I'm aggressive, man. I want to hurt people. But the younger Kobe, I can't blame it on younger because I'm 20 years older than he is today. So he wanted to annihilate his competitors.
He did. Yep.
But I'm really looking at the Kobe today. He just seemed like a guy that was ready to leave basketball and not go back to it. I like that. Love that. That's so inspirational to me, to leave an industry and say, I'm done with that. I'm moving on.
That he was still dominating it. 60 points his last game.
He could have been a manager. He could have been a team owner probably. And he's like, no, that's not what I want to do now. I want to go do the next thing. And I love that. I love the ability to leave something, to have the guts and the courage to move on. Sure. And build something else. So anyway,
I want to talk to you. Let's talk about that a little bit real quick, Grant, because I've watched you over the last, 21 years. First time I ever watched a video of you was I was 20 years old at a car dealership. They put me in a little closet and they had a bunch of Grant Cardone, VHS tapes. And that was the first time that I was introduced to you. So I've seen you go through, from sales training, building the platform. I know that you hit the streets, you were in dealerships, doing the thing that way. I've seen you hold workshops, and then we've seen you really shift over to Cardone Enterprises as of more recent, and then the 10X and the author. So let's talk about that. How do you personally know, like, when is it time to pivot a little bit? When is it time to shift? I've seen you put layer on layer on layer on layer, but how do you know when to make that move? When do we go to the next layer?
Well, for me, it's, it's like you see the end of something coming. Everything's got a cycle. Every sooner, look, Federal Express. I'm watching Federal Express this morning. So it's getting slaughtered.
Yeah.
Like, the company probably will not exist in the future. This is one of the greatest companies ever put on planet Earth. It's going to be disrupted by Amazon.
Right.
So it might come back. And I'm sure some, maybe Warren will come in and figure out how to save it. But my point of that is that, like, things expire. Bodies expire, products expire, ideas expire, and they run a cycle where either the passion's not there or the profit's not there. And for me, I like to do things that are profitable.
Right.
And the more profit it makes, the more passionate I get for some reason.
Right. I can understand that.
So because that's the only way I know how to win. I can't make a basket. I can't write a movie. Maybe I can. Maybe I could write a movie. I can't make it.
You put together some pretty good videos. I think you could probably put together a good movie.
Yeah. So look, if I do a 10X growth conference and 12,000 people come and we lose money on it, that's nothing to be proud about.
Sure.
I know guys that can do that. We run the only, just to brag a little bit, we run the only profitable event in the world.
Wow.
Everybody loses money on those deals. Those events they do. I did a deal with Tony Robbins, Sly Stallone, Gary Vaynerchuk. Who else was at that gig? I think Pitbull was there too. 2 days, they lost money on that gig.
Jeez.
Like, gosh, how you lose money on that?
Wow. With
how
that
you
lineup?
Like, I'm like, you got to be kidding. Because they couldn't sell their tickets. They couldn't get the appropriate price for their ticket. So when do you decide to transcend? When do you decide to move on to something? Look, when it's no longer passionate, it's no longer profitable, and you can't figure out a solution, right? You've tried and you're looking at, and you know that maybe the industry's starting to go away. Sure. For me, calling on car dealers, back in the beginning, as much as I loved calling on car dealers and as much as they helped me, they didn't appreciate me. They didn't appreciate their people. They didn't want to invest money in their people. I was the fact that I made any money doing what I did with car dealers is actually phenomenal. Right. Because I should have been in advertising. I actually picked the wrong vehicle. I should have been doing what they wanted to do. They want to train their people, but really they want to spend money on advertising. Yeah, no doubt. Which they don't want to do that either, but they know they have to keep traffic coming to the front door. I picked the wrong vehicle from the get-go. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made in my career, in my business career, right? So then once you make the decision, bro, it is one of the hardest things to do, to shift, because when you start spinning another plate, here's the trick. You cannot leave this plate. This plate demands that you continue to spin it. Right. Now, how much time you spend spinning that primary plate, because all I'm trying to do now is serve the customers, serve any existing contracts. You don't want to abandon this audience that actually helped you, but you can't give them all the attention. When I first started making the swing away from car dealers, like, they did not like it. Yeah, I bet. The audience that made you, or somewhat made you, will not want you to go get made somewhere else. Sure, makes sense. And you can hear rappers and entertainers doing, or comedians. Hey, do the old jokes, Richard. I want the old Kanye. Everybody wants the old Grant, right. Except the new people. Like, we just finished doing, I really appreciate you, by the way, Glenn. I appreciate a lot of things about you. One is the way you do an interview too. Like, you really listen. I know you got your notes and your questions there, but you're actually present. Oh, thank you, Grant. And most interviewers are not actually present. Oh, buddy, I'm soaking it all in. Yeah. But we did 7 events in the first 2 weeks of January, and there was 10,000 people there. I promoted it. It was a completely free event. Right. 10,000 at each? No, there was a 10,000 total. 10,000, almost 11,000 people in total. 50,000 people registered. 48,000, something like that, registered, and about 25% showed. Isn't that crazy on those free events? Yeah, it was free, totally free. Nothing. I mean, maybe San Francisco, I think you had to pay for parking. Right. It was me the entire time. Crazy. We promoted it for 2 weeks. My office is like, what are you doing? We have the 10X Growth Conference coming up. Like, this promoter that did made Tony who he is, said, what are you doing, dude? You got your big event in February. Why are you going to go out in January? I said, bro, because I'm a marketing genius, bro. Right. And he's like, I don't understand. Why would you do a free ticket when you're trying to sell a ticket for 12 grand? I said, bro, it's going to all work out. Trust me. Right. And so my point about that is, like I was transcending while I was doing my event. Right. So to do all this, you need money though. You can't like everybody wants to do the transcending thing. You either need money or a bunch of courage.
Sure.
Or a lot of energy, or probably all three all the time. So we went and did these events because I was creating attention for 10X.
Right.
Driving attention to 10X. And knowing if I can continue to create this gift that I've been given, the 10X thing has been really a gift.
Oh, it's been amazing.
To extend my legacy.
Yeah.
I didn't know it would be this, by the way. Like this was not some kind of planned activity.
Man, I was at the first one and it just floored me, man. But that makes total sense. So instead of just hammering 10X growth con, 10X growth con, 10X growth con, 10X growth con, now you can market, advertise these different free events, create content from those free events. And me personally, as somebody who's watching from the outside, I can be entertained, also more engaged, and you become more omnipresent versus you just hitting me right in between the eyes with the exact same pitch.
The ticket, right? 90% of the people that showed up at these events had never seen me live.
That's great.
So about 15 or 20% of the room had never heard of me before they came to that.
Now that breaks my heart.
How do you
I said, now that part breaks my heart. Everybody needs a little Uncle G in their life.
Yeah. So the question is, how do you transcend? How do you know when to do it? Well, yeah. I don't know how you know when to do it. I think most people know, hey, I no longer feel good about this industry. I think it's very important that everybody have more than one audience to speak to. Mm-hmm. Because if you rely on one audience, you're going to resent the audience.
They'll drag you down.
Anytime you depend on one flow, you will resent the flow. No matter how good the flow is. Yeah. The flow could pay you $10 million a month. You will resent the flow. Because you're going to feel dependent
on that.
And nobody wants to feel dependent. And so it's really important that people learn how do I actually surf two waves.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I like how you said with when you start to lose the passion or the profit, because I think a lot of people, especially in the auto industry, the profits will still be coming in, but they hate their job, right? They hate the 70 hours. They've lost the passion, but they're still collecting a check. So I love that you hit on both of those things.
I know car dealers that hate what they're doing.
Yeah, I know plenty of them myself.
No, it's not like. I know car dealers that are not in the game anymore. Mm-hmm. That's why they're not in the dealership.
Yeah, they've lost their fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And then I had a car dealer call me 2 weeks ago and said, dude, where, how much gas you got in your tank? And I said, what do you mean? He's like, I can't find my passion.
Right.
So you've been doing the same thing so long, bro. Like it's not, you got it. Kobe retired.
Right.
Comes a time where you're like, hey, next game.
Yeah, time to move.
You got to elevate the game. You got to elevate the questions. You got to elevate the industry. You got to go transition into something else. If you can do automotive, you can do anything. I really believe that.
Yeah. Now, earlier, Grant, you mentioned you like to win. We all know, we all know you like to win, and we see you winning. Right. We see you got your jet, you got your beautiful wife, you got beautiful kids, right? Like we see you winning. We see that. And I know you love to win. But let me ask you this. So
let me just say that when you talk about winning, that's not what I think about.
All right. Tell me.
I don't think about the jet. I think about my kids, my wife all the time. I love my kids like, oh my God, man.
Right.
The fact that this guy lost his kid, like it's just.
I know.
So anyway, when I think about winning, dude, I don't think about stuff. Mm-hmm. I think about crushing people. Okay, I got a huge chip on my shoulder. Nobody's ever asked me about it, but it's massive. I'll tell you how big my chip is. My chip is like that big. Okay.
So tell me about it, man. Why is that chip so big?
I don't know why. It doesn't matter. It served me so well that you know.
You're just good with it.
Yeah, I'm like, let's roll. You know. Well, because there's Stallone told me this too. I interviewed Stallone in California, up in San Mateo.
Uh-huh.
He's like, Grant, you got to have an adversary. He's like, you look like one of those guys. It's like, he's like, dude, you're aggressive. I said, bro, you're Rambo.
Right.
So he's like, not really, I'm Rocky. So he's like, my dark side's Rambo. So
Got it.
I said, my lightest side is Rambo.
Right on.
He's like, yeah, you got to have an adversary. He's like, Arnold. He's like, if it wasn't for Arnold, Grant, I probably would not be where I'm at. He's
really?
like, Arnold was not a friend. Arnold was a total adversary.
Got it.
We competed for roles. People compared us, you know. So I've had a lot of that in my career.
So who's your adversary now?
No, it's I don't, you know. I would never honor their name.
I got you.
You know who they are when I'm like, forget the dude's name, whatever the guy's name. I'll never mention their name.
Right.
That crook, that piece of garbage. You know.
Okay. All right.
So like I would never honor an adversary with a name.
That's wrong. I can dig that.
So
you define winning by crushing.
I mean, look, I'm taking this a little far. You said, hey, everybody sees me winning, and it's the stuff and that.
Right.
I'm just telling you what I don't think about that.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this: sometimes you don't win.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
yeah. Right? That's a lot of the time, dude.
So tell me, what mechanisms do you have? What mechanisms does Grant Cardone have for when you're not winning? We don't get to necessarily see that side. How do you handle that?
Y'all, you never see all the things I don't get.
Right.
The deals that get taken away from me. You know, today I'm not selling a car dealer $3,000 worth of tickets. I'm trying to buy a piece of property that's worth, you know, $93 million. And there's 10 other guys in line. They all have money. And they also have, you know, not unlike me, they're not Grant Cardone. They're Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, freaking Nuveen. Like these are massive. Like I'm competing against institutions.
Right.
That have been blessed by the banks. That you know, the Pope of business is basically given, you know, these people don't even know who I am. I'm like starting all over again.
Right.
So people don't see when I lose. Now, when I lose, what happens is I take that loss and I convert it as fast as I can into fuel to go crush. Like I'm not going to keep getting pounced on and beat. To me, it feels like a crushing, and I would rather give the crushing than have it delivered to me.
Sure.
Yeah, I take it personal. I think I take it so personal when I lose. And so for a second, it takes me out of the game for like 3 hours. And then I start like, somehow I have this ability. I don't know where I got it from or how I have it. I have ability to start converting the negative.
I love that.
Every negative thing that has happened to me in my life, Rob, Ralph, Bob, I'm thinking about people, right? Every one of them, the greatest, I would not be where I'm at if it were not for the ass whoopings I took and the people that ripped me off and the people that deceived me and cheated me, and because I converted it. One guy stole $9 million from me. I guarantee that guy's made me $100 million.
Wow.
Wake up with him every day. He's the reason, he is the guy, I've never said this before, he is the reason I decided to get on TV and billboards. Really? And everywhere on the internet. I said, I'm going to wake up, this motherfucker's going to see me every fucking day he wakes up.
I love it, man.
I'm going to go to Facebook, he's going to see me. He'll have to get off of social media. He probably has, by the way.
Right. Yeah, but now you're starting to hit him from the magazines and CNN and Fox. And
you can't get away from it. Guy can't get away from it. Bang, bang, bang.
I love it, man.
Ran into the guy in La Jolla in San Diego. Him and his wife were down in San Diego. I walked right past him. I said, "You're a piece of shit." See this.
Dude, I love that.
So,
Convert that negativity into fuel.
Yeah.
To go out and crush.
Into something positive, right?
Yeah.
Don't let it sit there and eat you in resentment.
Right.
Convert it, because resentment and fear, these negative emotions have tremendous energy, tremendous fuel. It's just got to be converted.
Yeah.
Addiction has, if you have the propensity for addiction, it has tremendous positive attributes. Yeah. Because to be successful, you got to be obsessed with the target, addicted with a target.
Right.
And that's a positive thing. It's not a negative thing.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very strong statement, and I can resonate, with that. I had prior addictions back in my day, and now I'm addicted to getting up at 3:50 a.m. Yeah. Now I'm addicted to rising and grinding at 5:30. I'm addicted to connecting with people like, you and other incredible humans that are out there making an impact in people's lives. Like, I totally can resonate with that. Now let's take it a little bit deeper. You've taken this winning attitude that you have, and you've done something really incredible, like with your team. You've created winners. Like, you'll take farm boys like Steve Spray out of Indiana, and you'll turn them into these champions. And not only do you turn them into top performers, but then you also turn them into great leaders like Sherry. You've got Sherry in your organization, who's just this incredible leader. So as a business person myself, hoping to grow my business going forward, and I'm sure some of the viewers are as well, how do you do that? Like, how do you convert these people to be top performers and great leaders like you are?
Well, thank you. But I don't actually consider myself a great leader.
Oh, man, you're crazy. You're leading the 10X movement. Are you kidding me? It takes a great leader to lead a movement like that.
I don't think about myself like that. I just think that I discovered this thing called 10X, had I been 10Xing the whole time throughout my career, thinking bigger, going bigger, multiplying, not adding little incremental changes, but multiplying, making big shifts like what Google does, right? Or Apple, right? They come out with multiple products constantly.
Sure.
Had I been doing that, I wouldn't have suffered it. I wouldn't have put my family at financial risk. Now, how do I somehow attract the Sherrys and the Steves? Steve Spray, we wouldn't even have Steve if it was up to me.
I know. I read it in your book.
We would have fired Steve like 17 times.
Right.
I'm like, guys, you're wasting your time. This guy will never make it. And Steve's unbelievable. Yeah. Like, a phenomenal human being. I was just wrong about it.
Right.
I think it's Jay-Z who says on that album that Boss is on, hey, if all the people around me are broke, if I'm rich and everybody around me is broke, then I'm broke too. Something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
I really, really relate to that. I look at some of my contemporaries, some of the top speakers in the world, and predecessors, some of the guys that went before me. They didn't have companies, and they didn't have anybody else with a light, with a star. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I wanted to do was I didn't want to be the only star in my universe. If you notice, and maybe you don't, but my wife does. She's like, I've never seen anybody share the limelight as much as you do.
Yeah.
She comes from Hollywood, so she knows it's very hard to get the light off the main star.
Sure.
Dude, I want it on other people. I was doing a gig in Oakland, and the guy running the gig, who's been around the top like A-listers in the world, he told one of my people, he told Ryan Secco, somebody asked Ryan to sign an autograph, and Bill went up to Ryan and says, don't do that when Grant's here. Because Grant needs to be the star. And I told Bill, I said, bro, I want everybody to be the star.
Right.
I want everybody around me to be a star. Okay. The more stars I got around me, the brighter my universe gets.
Absolutely.
And so
that's strong.
And I'm not worried about anybody outshining me. Well, let's all shine.
Right.
So I got Jared, Sherry, Steve, Dave Robards, Mike Bonnet, Ryan Secco. Like, I want more.
Right.
More people doing well. So how do I do it? The way I lead is I go do stuff.
First I do.
And when I talk about doing stuff, I'm talking about I move the bar. The only thing I look at every day is, did I move the graph up? Mm-hmm. I'm just I love that the symbol of Hercules. I think it was Hercules holding the world.
Yep.
And I imagine if it was a live character, he'd be pushing it up more all the time. That's what when I see a graph, we graph everything. Right. I look at grass and I'm like, I want to go be Hercules. I want to lift it. And that's all my people see me doing every day. Sure. I'm not an organizer. I'm not a planner. I'm not the meeting guy. I'm Hercules.
Constantly moving that bar.
Moving the bar. I'm the one making the points.
Right.
And so I'm like, look, Steve, I'm going to make 40 points today. Put 20 on the board, dog. I don't need you to do, because you can't, Steve. You can't make 40. Okay.
Right.
So me and Ryan, I'm like, Ryan, I'm gonna raise $2 million today. I bet you can't even do half of what I do. Mm. And what happens is, they see my energy is toward activities that get results, not ideas or concepts.
Yeah, I like that. And I like how you constantly are nudging them and pushing them a little bit more. Steve Spray actually told me a story once. He said that he was in the elevator. Yeah, go ahead. You're good, man.
It's Jared right here. I call you.
What's up, Jared? But Steve actually told me once that he was coming out the elevator, or he was in the elevator, and you came in and you said, "How much money you got, Steve?" And he was like, "Oh, I think I got, like $400,000 or something like that." And you were like, "You're broke, man. You're broke. Come on, get on it." I love how you're constantly nudging your people to do.
And more. Look at Steve. He's been with me 5 years.
Yeah.
Steve has more money put away and more money invested in CardoneCapital, more money invested, period, than maybe anybody in his family ever in their history.
Yeah.
Ryan Secco, same thing. Ryan Secco left a job making Steve Spray came from Indiana from a farm. He couldn't make $12 a week.
Right.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum is Ryan Secco. He was making $125,000 a year as a pilot for United.
Wow.
Youngest pilot in the country, had all the benefits. 10,000 hours flying for United.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of hours in a plane.
That's a ton of hours.
And 21 apartments, 21 units.
Right.
He came to work for me, found me on YouTube. I convinced him to sell his apartments, quit his job. And it wasn't really very hard. That guy's going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars one day.
Wow. That's incredible, man. And I think that's a big part of it, just the way that you care so adamantly about their success. That I think that's one of those leadership qualities. So you're making an impact in guys like me. You're making an impact in your team there locally. You're making an impact with the 10X movement. You've got a lot of people that are looking at you for guidance, for wisdom, for inspiration, for motivation, things like that. Does that ever get heavy on you at all? Like, do you ever feel heavy having that many people kind of counting on you to keep showing up?
What gets heavy is, oh God, I got to figure out how. I just convinced 12,000 people to show up to Mandalay Bay in Vegas. I got to put on a show.
Right.
There's a fine line between entertainment and business. If I could erase the line, I noticed that when I erase the line between entertainment and business, the business gets easy.
Mm. I like that.
And so people are like, why are you bringing all these entertainers into your conference? Because I learn more from artists about business than I do from business people about business.
Mm. That's interesting.
The artist, the comedian. I remember being at a comedy club act on a Friday night. I was just like measuring it wasn't even good comedy. right? But it was like, oh my God, he's having to control an audience.
Right.
And the audience is not participating too well tonight.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Everybody's going to have that experience. Everybody's going to have a sticky, tough audience. How you handle that, like, is a career move. Mm. And it can actually kill careers. I mean, I know people that are like, I'm never going back on stage again because of that one event.
Sure.
So when I can erase the line and I'm entertaining people, I think this is why education fails, because it's so not entertaining.
Yeah, it's boring. It's dull.
And why so many business meetings are so boring. Like, how can I take out anything if I'm not paying attention? But the moment you walk into Vegas and you see O for an hour and a half and you're like,
yeah, totally, man. He went down into the water. He jumped through the thing. The floor moved. It's amazing.
Like, you're like, oh, wow, they had me, right? So that's what we try to do with our growth conference. Then the challenge then is, okay, now I got to start interviewing people that are not, used to being in my space. And they've been used and consumed and tricked and hoodwinked. And I gotta let them know that I'm somehow different. I'm talking about the guests that we're having at our conference.
Yeah, I get it. Yep.
So how do I get Kevin Hart? I can get him there, but can I really get him there?
Right.
Can I really get him to be like, hey, this is unique.
Yeah, to buy into the whole thing.
And not just be another gig he's doing.
Yeah, not just show up for 45 and head out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get it, man.
That's where the pressure really comes from. And the audience, I want to make sure the audience, people that have seen me more than once, are like, bro, that was sick.
Right.
That was the best one ever.
Now, why'd you scale it back down from the 30? You had what, 35,000 at the last 10X, and now we're going back down to 12.
Because I couldn't find a place to do it bigger.
Really?
So it was no fun doing the same thing.
I love it.
So I said, hey, let's go back and do something better in a smaller space.
Right.
Where we actually condense the audience and do some things that we can't do in a bigger space.
Yeah.
Also, the 35,000, it gets a little, I worry about it being so big that it's not intimate enough.
Yeah, not intimate.
And the other thing that we learned from that event is, because when you go do something more bigger than 12 or 13,000 people, you're typically at locations where you're disconnected from hotels. Mm-hmm. So people are having to travel each day to get there.
Sure.
And and people tend to be late. And that takes some of the juice out of the deal. The beautiful thing about Vegas is you're staying in Mandalay Bay. You go down the elevator, and you travel. You're at the convention center.
Sure.
You're not having to leave somewhere and go to another place.
Gotcha. So everyone's there, ready to
begin. Wearing the audience out, just driving every day and driving home, and can be a good networking opportunity. But yeah, so we just felt like this was a better. Like I'd like to do. What's the place in New York? The famous place in New York. Sinatra did it.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. I'd like to do Madison Square Garden.
That would be cool.
Spell it out.
Well, I'm excited to be there, man. I was at the very first 10X, and that was an awesome experience, and the networking was crazy. That's where I met Danelle. Delgado was at that first one, and her and I have been best of friends, ever since. We've done deals together, and it's just incredible. The second one over in Vegas was mind blowing. Of course, I met Carrie Kasem, at that one, and her and I have become friends, since that particular event. But just everything that gets delivered from the stage is just it's powerful, man. When we're building our hustle and grind call, we're trying to mirror you on a much smaller scale, but we're trying to mirror you as much as possible. Blend that entertainment, the motivation, the inspiration with the education to make it impactful, right? Yeah. So I know you said that kind of puts a little pressures from the stage, so on and so forth. But I want to go a little bit further as far as is there anything that really scares you? Do you have any fears? Is Grant Cardone afraid of anything?
Oh, dude, I'm afraid of so much stuff. I'm, afraid I'm going to die. damn, when's that card up?
Yeah.
Scared for my kids a lot, like.
In what way?
Just, man, society's pretty screwed up today.
Yeah.
So I worry about them getting involved in drugs, and they're only 8 and 10 right now. I worry about them being in the school system. I worry about them being out of it.
Yeah. I get you on that.
I worry, do I spend enough time with them? 10-year-old needs 10-year-olds, Anyway, so that's a struggle for me. Now, the thing that scares me most about these events is, will anybody show up?
Right.
The most embarrassing thing in the world would be that if nobody showed up. And another reason probably why we didn't do 35,000 people, to be honest, I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, we pulled it off last time. I don't even know if I could do it twice.
Yeah, you guys had to run hard for that one, man.
Because, man, you show up to a baseball stadium and it's empty, that ain't going to make anybody feel good.
I remember at the first one, you were pissed because you guys had sold out, but then some people didn't show up. And there was some holes in the room, and you were on stage like, I told my team to oversell this thing.
What happened, Glenn? What happened was my Sherry had held those seats for speakers and their family.
Gotcha.
And I told them, I said, guys, you don't give seats to anybody. Well, they're coming to speak and they want to bring their entourage. Well, good. Let them go stand on the wall.
Okay.
And sure enough, we gave them up. We thought it was the right thing to do. I mean, we've only done 3 of these or 4 of these,
Right.
We don't even know what we're doing. So
right.
Les Brown has like 7 seats over there.
Yeah.
And I got on stage and I saw them empty and I went like right in front of everybody.
I know. I was there.
Right.
You were like, those of you in the back, get up here right now. Let's go.
I hate empty seats, man.
Right.
Because it suggests to the other audience that something's wrong with the show. That maybe I made a mistake. Look, people are so uncertain about their decisions. You don't want to give them any evidence to be uncertain.
Yeah.
The presenter's job is to reinforce certainty over and over again. You're doing the right thing. People have made so many mistakes in their decisions that they basically become people that make no decision, which is a decision, by the way.
Right.
No decision is a decision.
Yeah. Choosing not to act. That's
and people don't choose to act because they've lost certainty because of previous decisions. And so my job, once somebody gets in the room, hey, I've sold them, but I got to sell them again. I think a lot of events miss this point. Oh, we sold the tickets. Yeah, so what?
Yeah.
I got to keep selling the guy Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I got to sell him at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock. When he's leaving, I need to sell him again. Like that. That's what I want to do with these events because I've been to them. I know what my competition does in these events.
Sure.
And it's not pretty.
It's not.
Yeah,
I agree.
And so our goal at the 10X Growth Conference and all the events I do, even the free events I do around, we're going to do 50 free events this year.
That's crazy, man.
And the reason I'm doing that is because I know guys that I don't like can't do it.
Yeah.
Like you go try to do a free event, 50.
Right.
You'll bleed out. People are going to bleed out, dude. I'll bleed the guy out. That's the proper way to use money, by the way.
Nice.
This is straight out of if you're not first, you're last. Do what your competition cannot do.
Right.
Not what they won't do, what they
cannot. I love that, man.
And so for me, the growth conference, I mean, we're into the last 25 days or something. Now we're starting to figure out how do I get somebody's attention at 9 o'clock in the morning, again at 10, again at 11, to where they keep going, whoa, another level, whoa, another level, whoa,
right.
Another level.
Right. Yeah, it's incredible, man. You guys do an awesome job with that. So, Grant, let me ask you. Let's just your picture of your destiny. All right. Yeah. I want Grant Cardone's picture of Grant Cardone's destiny. How far would you say on a percentage scale? Like, how much have you accomplished of what you feel you're capable of? Are you at 40%? Are you at 70%? Where are you at on the scale of what Grant Cardone is capable of?
Probably 20%.
I had a feeling you'd hit me a little low on that one.
I mean,
20%. Wow.
I've just underestimated everything I could do my whole life. When I was a kid, Glenn, I was like, I knew I was going to do something great and had zero reason to believe that.
Right.
Like it was a total fantasy, or maybe not. I think everybody has that. I would imagine that every kid has this idea that they're meant for greatness. I know I did. I always thought I was going to be something great. I remember my twin brother. He'd be in the mirror, man. He's like 8 years old. We're 8 years old. And he's singing in the mirror like he's a rock star.
Right.
I had to listen to that all the time. and then I started thinking, man, if he's going to be a rock star, he's going to go on and be a big rock star. And I can't, because that wasn't my deal.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what am I going to be? And then I thought, I'm going to be a baseball player. I actually believed I was going to be a baseball player.
Right.
Dude, I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have the arm. I mean, I had no talent. I didn't have the work ethic. I didn't have somebody pushing me. So I've just always underestimated what I could do. I think everybody does. That's why this 10X thing, that's why I keep telling people, man, you're thinking too small. When I talk to people about real estate, don't do 2 units. Got to start somewhere. No, you don't have to start with 2 units. You could actually start with 32.
Right.
And by the way, it's going to be a lot easier to make money on 32 than it is 2.
Sure.
If you can just believe that you can. And right now is a time where people are going to have to start believing they can do something else, because we're going to move into a period of time now where there's going to be massive transition, enforced transition on everyone. Plumbing jobs are going to go away. Maybe not the plumbing job, but some of these jobs, the auto manufacturing jobs are going to disappear. Robots are going to influence, maybe the engineer, the petroleum engineer should learn a little bit about AI. And that whatever you're learning about AI, by the way, whatever you learn today, you're going to have to learn something new 6 months from now.
Right.
Education is truly going to become a lifetime, not 12 years.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. You mentioned the buying 32 units instead of buying 2, and that's obviously, an outside the box, different type of thinking. You've also been the first to go on record and say, rent the house you live in and own the houses, you rent, and you've always kind of gone against the traditional mindsets that we were all taught and, and trained to believe. Where does a lot of that come from? Are you just reading, absorbing knowledge, your experiences? Do you get these just crazy like downloads? Like how is it that you continue to creatively think outside of the box?
I don't know exactly. I do know that I am a bit of a contrarian. A lifetime of like, this is dumb. The obvious, to me, what's obvious that everybody's agreeing to. And I've been right most, a lot.
Right.
So I've always been early on it too, though. Mm-hmm. When you're right and early, it's painful.
Nobody wants to listen to you.
Nobody wants to listen to you.
Right.
Even if people could be like, yeah, but, I'm going to keep doing this.
Sure. Don't take action on it.
So, the house thing, look, I know from personal, one of the first lessons I was taught in my life, that it was a house that was not an investment. My dad paid the house off. It was a beautiful house, unbelievable. Location was ridiculous, irreplaceable. When he died, my mom had to sell it. So my mom was terrified to keep that house. I wanted her to keep the house. She's like, I can't keep this house. We can't keep it up. We can't keep it, even though it was paid for.
Right.
So I'm like, well, 10 years old. This isn't an asset.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, right? That's no good.
So if that thing was 32 units that was paying her every month, she would have never gotten rid of it. It would have taken care of us. It would have handled her fears. Johnny, I'll be in there. I'll be in there a little bit, Johnny. I don't know where some of that. I'm a student of observation. I observe things. I remember selling cars, saying this is stupid. First, I learned how to do it. Control the customer, the 12 steps.
Right.
And then I'm like, if I do 12 steps with everybody, I can't get to 30 units a month. And then I'm like, I started skipping steps.
Right.
Because I wanted those 10 car weeks. And the only way to do that was walk out there and just start offering people what they were going to ask me for anyway.
Right.
Can I get you a price, a payment, a down payment, a monthly payment? Can I get you everything you need?
Right.
I knew that it was just a matter of about 30 seconds. They were going to ask for it all.
No doubt.
So I just basically intercepted the customer, sped up the processes. And then I'm like, man, I started hitting 30, 36 units, 31 units in 14 days. I'm like, dude, this is the way to do it. And then when I lost my job, because the dealer wasn't big enough, didn't think big enough himself, didn't 10X. When I left him, I didn't have any place to go in his company or his organization. I couldn't be a star there. I went out and started teaching that. And nobody wanted it. It was right. It would take 20 years before everybody would embrace it.
Sure.
So same thing on these conferences. When I go to one of these conferences, I'm like, this is ridiculous, man. Terrible rooms.
Boring speakers, no sounds, no lights.
You got 88 speakers.
Right.
You got 88 speakers, okay? It's all sponsor driven.
Right.
We don't have any sponsors, bro.
Right.
I'm a profitable event with no sponsors.
It's incredible.
Anybody wants a sponsor, it's because we said, okay, yeah, we want to sponsor. We want to do it with you. But I don't have like Allstate. I don't have, I don't know who are some of these people are the sponsors.
Yeah, sure.
Wells Fargo sponsored my deal telling me what to do.
Yeah, you don't want them.
And we're profitable because the people pay. The people pay.
Right.
So see, when I see events like that, it pisses me off. And I'm like, okay, Grant, you can't just be pissed off about something. You got to go do it. Like NADA paid Jay Leno like $1 million to speak. But they want me to fill out an application
right
for free. I'm like,
right.
You doing this, man? So NADA does their gig in Vegas. Next weekend, I'm doing mine. There'll be more people at my conference than there will be at the National Automobile Dealer Association.
That's incredible. Get that chip on. There it is. There's that big chip. I was wondering why you ran it close like that. I'm thanks to you, I'll be in Vegas for 11 straight days because I do kind of have to hit the NADA scene at first, but I'm excited about 10X Growth Con. But man, I love that, man. Just don't sit there and complain about it, but be about it. Do something about it. Go out there and impact it.
Use it. Convert the energy.
Yeah, convert the energy. That's incredible. I know you're starting to get some calls, and I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I do want to do two things, if we could, please. First of all, I've got this group online, the hashtag Rise and Grind group, 30,000 members. And I've been telling them for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks that you were going to be joining us today. And so I asked them to submit maybe some questions that they might want to know from you, so on and so forth. And Carrie Lynn Carter, we always talk about in our group, we talk about morning routines and the disciplines and just the things that we do kind of every day that are important. And so Carrie Lynn Carter, she wanted to know from you, like, is there any daily disciplines that you have in your life, daily routines that you would attribute to your success?
I try to beat the sun up. I write my goals down every day, and I try to hit the gym. So I don't do it perfect every day.
Sure.
Some things throw me off, and unfortunately, I created a lifestyle where some things are taken care of for me that most people don't have that option. You know, somebody drives the kids to school. I don't have to do that. That would change everything if I had to do that. Who knows? Maybe I need to. Maybe I need to start driving the kids to school. It seems like a complete waste of time to me. But I live two minutes from my office. So when I bounce out of here, I got to go do a live stream on real estate. But yeah, that's the first three things. If I can get that done in the morning, man, I know I'm going to have a good day.
Yeah, pretty simple. Beat the sun up. Make sure you write down your goals.
Yeah.
Make sure you take care of yourself, get the blood flowing, get the heart pumping.
Yeah, and I write my goals down fresh, a new unit, like in a new unit at a time. Like I write them down today, like I had never written them down before.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's so simple on the outside, but so many people won't do those three.
I dare everybody listening here to try to do it for 30 days in a row. See if you can even make 7.
I love it. All right, I'm gonna do one last thing for you, Grant, or have you do one last thing for us. So, Grant Cardone, you are on top of a mountain, my man. You're sitting on top of the mountain, and all of civilization is there. They're looking up at you. They're going, Cardone, 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 Cardone. They're cheering for you. I know you're used to this at your conferences, but now you're on top of a mountain and everybody's going, Cardone, Cardone, Cardone. And they give you a mic and you've got 2 minutes. Yeah. 2 minutes to drop some practical wisdom, application, something they can take away and change their life today, tomorrow, next month, in the future. What are you going to tell them?
Say, hey, guys, whatever you see in me is in you. Otherwise, you couldn't see it. So if you're inspired by me, it's in you. If you don't like something, it's in you. And I drop the mic and fly off.
I love it. And that is an incredible mic drop right there, dude. That's powerful.
Glenn, I love you, bro. I love you. I love your audience. I hope people get something out of this and you know, just want to send prayers and wishes to the Bryant family. And anybody today that's suffering from a loss. You know, I know what it's like. I lost my dad when I was 10, my brother when I was 20. Dude, it's hard, you know. So and you know, the positive thing is that dude represented greatness, and we all have that in us, and we can all not just be great, but we can, by our example, I truly believe this, inspire other people to be great.
Yeah, amen, man.
Hey, bless you, bro.
Thank you so much, Grant. We truly appreciate y'all. See you in a couple of weeks out there in Las Vegas.
See you there, man.
All right. Thanks, my man. Bye. And that, my friends, is Grant Cardone. Wow. Thank you so much for jumping in here, being a part of this, participating in this. I see all the comments rolling. It's amazing. If you haven't done so already, please, will you share this out? One of the best things that we can do whenever we do have a guest come on the show, one of the best ways we can honor them is just by sharing them out to as many people as humanly possible. Thank you so much for coming in and joining me with this special edition episode of #Rise and Grind. Next week, we will be interviewing Mr. Ed Milet at 2:30 Eastern on Monday also. So make sure you come back and join us then. For those of you that are new, maybe to the group, maybe we haven't met before, my name is Glenn Lundy. I'm a husband to 1, a father to 7, the host of #Rise and a Grind, an automotive specialist. And I would love to invite you to our group on Facebook, #Rise and Grind. We'd love for you to come join us and also come watch our morning show Monday through Friday at 5:30 a.m. right here where you found this at official Glenn Lundy on Facebook. Thank you so much. Have an incredible day. You're amazing humans. Thank you, Grant Cardone. It is an honor. You are a legend. You, sir, my man, have made a massive impact in my life, and I absolutely love you for it. Have a great one. Take care.